World leaders have called for a ceasefire in Gaza, saying nothing could justify the collective punishment of the Palestinian people. Addressing the opening session of the UN General Assembly in New York, they said the international community must mobilize for an immediate ceasefire and the beginning of an irreversible process towards a two-state solution. In this regard, our correspondent Abdul Hai Aryan has more details in this news report. Let's watch.
The 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly kicked off in New York City with a high-level week, drawing in leaders from around the globe. Over 130 heads of states and 100 foreign ministers convened to address pressing global challenges. Among these in attendance was Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, who joined the opening session. In his inaugural address, the United Nations General Secretary Antonio Guterres warned of a world plagued by impunity, inequality, and unpredictability. He highlighted the escalating tensions in Middle East, Europe, and the Horn of Africa, emphasizing the need for urgent action.
It is time for a just peace, based on the UN Charter, on international law, and on UN resolutions. Meanwhile, Gaza is a non-stop nightmare that threatens to take the entire region with it.
In his speech, U.S. President Joe Biden defended his administration's handling of the withdrawal from Afghanistan and reaffirmed the United Nations commitment to supporting Ukraine. He also acknowledged the growing competition with China, stressing the importance of responsible management to avoid any conflict. Biden also called for an end to the ongoing war in Gaza.
As we look ahead, we must also address the rise of violence against innocent Palestinians on the West Bank and set the conditions for a better future, including a two-state solution where the world, where Israel enjoys security and peace and full recognition and normalized relations with all its neighbors, where Palestinians live in security, dignity, and self-determination in a state of their own.
United Nations General Assembly President Salman Yoa urged all member states to play a role in resolving the Palestine issue. He emphasized the need for joint efforts to promote peace worldwide and criticized the UN for failing to deliver on its promises. President of Turkey, Tayyip Erdogan, highlighted the devastating war in Gaza, accusing Israel of committing genocide. He urged that peace cannot be left only to 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council and called for a more robust international response.
Since October 7, 41,000 Palestinians have been killed in the continuous Israeli attacks. 100,000 people were injured, maimed, or they lost their limbs. 172 journalists were killed, and more than 500 medics have been killed while they were trying to save lives. What kind of barbarianism we are facing? As a result of Israeli attacks, Gaza has become the world's largest cemetery for women and children. Unfortunately, the United Nations has failed to fulfill its founding mission.
Delivering his address at UNGA, the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Ahmad Al Thani, said the occupation in Palestine has taken form of apartheid in 21st century. Says no peace process is taking place, rather there is a genocide. We are facing human catastrophe in Gaza.
The blatant aggression that befalls the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip today is the most barbaric, heinous, and extensive aggression violating human values, international conventions, and norms. This is not a war within the international relations well-known and common concept of war, but rather it is a crime of genocide.
In his speech, President of Maldives, Mohamed Dr. Mezu, said that future is with digital economy and enhancing digital connectivity is key for development. Says digital economy will contribute 15% of his country's GDP by 2030. Other leaders also shed light on various international issues, ranging from climate change to Gaza war. The theme of this year's United Nations General Assembly session is Leaving No One Behind, acting together for advancement of peace, sustainable development, and human dignity for present and future generations. Abdul Hai Aryan, PT World News, Islamabad.
Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Mustafa